Blade Warband, a game that has definitely had quite the impact on this channel within the last few months, all because of a specific individual. Speak of the devil, as I'm sure you're all well aware, Edward Hastings is currently colonising the sodding planet at the moment with no signs of stopping. But for now, let us pace ourselves, take a tad bit of a break from that, and immerse ourselves in the year 1257, also known as Native Warband, which I last played on the channel. Actually, yeah, when was that? Safe to say it's been a while. So let us create our hero, shall we? You decided to strike out on your own as an adventurer. What made you take this decision? I just wanted to go out with the boys, do you know what I mean? I don't think there's any beating the name Edward Hastings, but I'll try my best. By some divine intervention, it just felt right. This man will ride to glory and conquer Calradia. Why are you laughing? Frederick Digby means business. He's not to be made fun of. After literally playing God and creating this absolute gallant, it was time for our first scrap. Come on, how about you, mate? I've 100%ed Swordsman VR on the Oculus Quest 2. You stand no chance. Bloody hell, he felt that one. You're not going to win this, old boy. I just listened to The Duelist by Iron Maiden about an hour ago. I know what I'm doing. Here lies the first victim of Reginald Digby. A monumental day he's ready to take on— Oh my god, who is— Stay back, mate, or I will shoot you, and maybe kill you. Warning shot. After greeting this man in a friendly manner, I learned that he is the Merchant of Praven, a major city in the Kingdom of Swadia. And this man has a job for us. This is huge. A nobody like Reginald Digby being given mercenary work for a high prize. This is where we begin, chaps. Get some chaps, stab some other chaps, get your brother back, get paid. Sounds easy enough. I'm interested, my friend. Now, the first step of this very daring quest was to recruit at least 5 men. Sounds easy enough, right? I'll just take a nice and leisurely stroll over to the small peaceful town of Asgard and ask the local population if they're interested in some honest and morally—
You better not be a manhunter.
I think I'm being robbed, no worries. I'm outnumbered 11 to 1, well at least it's not raining. Now luckily for me, looters in this game are more useless than windscreen wipers on a submarine, so despite the rather unfavourable terrain, I managed to win a decisive victory against the brigands with not much else to say, really. I then politely nabbed all of their ill-gotten gains, proceeded to sell it all to the arms merchant in Praven, and then went back to the village to get what I actually came for. Cannon fodder. I bring the promise of great fortune to all those who decide to join me. Wow. 4 of you are actually stupid enough to believe that. After recruiting 5 more poor blighters, I began to make my way back to Praven to speak with the merchant. That is, until I saw something that caught my attention first. Allow me to just bet all of my money on myself. What have I got to lose? Hi boys, glad to be in the tournament. Let's have a fair fight and let's be— Frederick was in it now, chaps. He was in an arena with veteran fighters and nobles, outclassed in every department. There was no chance for him. I'm lying. Within mere moments, Frederick had outclassed his competitors and reached the final, and was ready to face off against his final opponent. Come on, you stone-eating bastard, my ring's right here. You're not beating me on horseback, old boy. Edward Hastings used to be a lancer. Or should I say, Lance, Chad. Here's my chance, chaps. Yes. Yes! Yes! Frederick was ecstatic, as you can tell. Before even completing the tutorial, he had won his first piece of silverware. I mean, the tournament. He won the— Anyway, this was a huge step for Frederick, winning both a large sum of money and renown, while also being invited to the great feast in the Lord's Hall of Praven. I can't wait to join this grand feast. This is going to be great. I expected a few more people in attendance here. Well, cheers for the tournament, mate, but as far as feasts go, this is a bit shite. And on that terrible disappointment, I returned to the Merchant of Praven, who sent me straight off again after a group of looters, who were conveniently positioned just outside of Praven and knew of the location of his brother. Alright boys, time to test out the Digby Company in action. These are only looters, chaps, so if any of you die, you just simply weren't good enough. Here they come, chaps, open fire! Or throw stones at them, whatever, do something. I definitely just saw one of them fall to the ground. Right, the rest of you, charge! Well, they certainly aren't the Edwardian Hussars by any means, but they'll do for now. Well, them's the breaks. We captured one of the looters, and he kindly told us where his mate's hideout was. So, being mercenaries, we found it, struggled to access it because it was inside of a sodding village, plundered it, and massacred everyone inside. Job well done, boys. Oh, shite, we missed one. It's right, chaps, I got him. Actually, that might be the brother. There. Well, as a matter of fact, it was the brother, so I slightly apologised for shooting him and returned to the merchant for my reward. He's now asking me to lead a revolt in the streets of Praven. Absolutely, mate. I'm not quite sure why we're doing this, but it is rather fun, I suppose, so fair enough. I've not even been here a week and I'm already overthrowing the Praven authorities with my best mate, Merchant of Praven. He's dead. You killed my mate, you now get a bolt to the cranium. Despite the merchant bloody dying, our riot went swimmingly, and I was now free to do as I pleased. And I pleased to conquer Calradia, but we'll get to that. As of now, Frederick Digby is in no position to be besieging a castle and calling it his own, because, well, no one's actually heard of him yet, and will quite simply just beat the shite out of him. That's not what we want, and so we must make a name for ourselves in the land of Calradia, primarily by joining a faction, which is our first goal. Again, however, Frederick is nowhere near ready to join a faction either, and so we need to have a chat with King Harlus, the leader of the Kingdom of Swadia, and build a good relation with him, which will benefit us in the future. Now, this is where the grind begins, so I'll just give you chaps a bit of a montage on the key moments, otherwise we will have a 9-hour video on Mountain Blade Warband. Well, I must say, old boy, for a lawless and murderous villain such as yourself, it's quite a cowardly move to hide out in a small innocent village such as this one. Struck a nerve, did I? Never stood a chance, my friend. Oh dear. Horse, react. Horse, move. Horse, With how many arrows they're currently shooting at me, I'm surprised I haven't been hit yet. That's crazy. They may have bows, gentlemen, but we have the high ground. And besides, they're bandits. They couldn't even hit a beached blue whale at point-blank range. So do try your best not to get hit and focus on— What did I just say, you Now, it may not be the most effective piece of armor this chap has to offer, but it looks absolutely opulent, and that's all that matters to me. We'll see if it still wasn't a handball after I bloody decapitate you, you claret Up the hammers! Here's a message from King Harlus, my friend. I believe it's a declaration of war. You have a good day now. It wasn't. I could use a trustworthy companion who is capable of knocking down castle walls if I deem it necessary. You're in, my friend. Frederick Digby is not in this arena with you chaps. You're in it with him. Fight each other for Pete's sake! I don't know what any of that means, mate, but sure, have the money. That's good, sir. Now defend yourself. You failed. You're getting beaten to death for wasting my sodding time. Things were going well for Frederick. He was building connections, getting rich from the tournaments, and making a name for himself. But then this happened. I'm listening, my friend. So Count Rathart here has just offered to hire me as a mercenary for the Kingdom of Swadia on a 1-month contract with the option of extension. This was a moral dilemma for Frederick. Does he reject this offer, continue to build his renown and wait until he can officially join Swadia as a distinguished and honourable gentleman? Or become a bloodthirsty mercenary, loyal to nobody but the highest bidder, his heinous actions in the name of nothing but coin? Needless to say, I accepted the contract without hesitation, and was instantly called upon by the Swadian Marshal for a military campaign against the Kingdom of Rhodoks. Good grief! I was told to report to our Marshal, I wasn't told we were besieging a city! Could have had some warning beforehand, old boy, but yes, I suppose I'm ready. It was time, gentlemen. It was time for Frederick Digby's first siege— Oh wait, never mind. We're going to beat the shite out of a Rhodok lord first. Nevertheless, this would be a valuable experience for Frederick, being his first bit of action against the Rhodoks as a hired blade for King Harlus. Additionally, our force was vastly superior to theirs, so I wouldn't have to do much. Alright, I'll follow your lead, boys. You show me how it's done. Now, I'm not exactly much of a military tactician, but I'm rather certain that horses and rivers don't make for the best match when it comes to cavalry charging. Ah, sod it, what do I know? Yeah, you chaps do most of the fighting down there where the main forces are actually clashing. I'll hang back here with a cuppa running down any routing enemies. Sound good? Good, I'm glad we agree on this. Mother! On second thought, I'll join the main action. Odds of us winning this, chaps, I'm gonna say 7. 7 indeed. We had absolutely crushed the opposing Rhodok forces, and it was now back to Yalen for Frederick Digby's first siege. Oh wait, no, hang on a minute. Now Delanard is getting us to do reconnaissance. I reluctantly agreed to scout the surrounding area, successfully scouted said areas, got chased off by half the sodding Rhodok armed forces, and returned to Count Delanard to report my success. And now it was finally time for Frederick Digby's first siege. Come on then, chaps, let's do something here, shall we? Honestly, gentlemen, I'm just glad to be involved. You're not allowed to shoot me, old boy, that's just how it goes. I'm not hanging back and letting you lot advance and do all of the hard work, chaps. I'm providing crucial covering fire. I'm really making a difference here. Come on then, chaps, we don't have all day— Well, we do, actually, I suppose. We are besieging the castle, but you know exactly what I mean. Right, I finally made it up the ladder, now let's get into the action. You do have to love those moments of absolute certainty when you just know you've chosen the right side of things. Oh, it seems it's a one-on-one duel, my friend. How did we get here, then? I'm not sure, but we're definitely in different places now, eh? And that's the battle. Are you taking the piss? By the time Frederick Digby had managed to join the assault on the wall, the siege was pretty much won. Nevertheless, we had successfully secured Yalen and went on to cut down the retreating party of Count Anyway, he's dead now. And after a few more days of what I can only describe as dilly-dallying, our marshal finally called an end to the campaign. So during this free time, I got up to various activities to pass the time. In other words, back to the grind. Worry not, villagers, the National Swadian Peacekeeping Force is here. This is what honest work looks like, chaps. Come on, please, we're so close, please. Come on, come on, come on. Yes! You have to respect King Graveof's thought process of, oh shite, I lost half my army in one of my major cities. I reckon it's time to call it a day. Actually, don't call the day just yet, because we're now at war with Skyrim. Oh yeah, and also Genghis Khan, because why wouldn't we be? This is for the Anglo-Saxons, you Nordic pricks. Although your actions did result in a very good Iron Maiden song being made. Now, I'm not exactly a mathematics sort of chap, I never have been. But a profit of 1,227 dinars a week, that sounds ideal to me. I do like capitalism, it's alright. If only the Nords discovered what horses were. Perhaps then they wouldn't be so, shite. Come on, chaps, they're bloody horse archers from the Mongolian desert defending the castle with swords. It's like sending a group of sailors to fight in the Iraqi desert with rifles. Just going to expand the Digby Company Limited a tad bit. Worry not, innocent Swadian village farmers. Frederick Digby is within close proximity. Believe me, Jarl Axdin won't know what hit him. Well, I didn't explicitly say I was going to save them, did I? I continued on with my business, beating up the Nords and doing various tasks for people until I received a rather interesting quest. Plotting in the dark, are we? I do love a good act of dishonor every now and then. Allow me to just break down what's going on here. King Harlow's here wants Frederick to deliver a false letter to King Ragnar of the Nords, incriminating Jarl Marayir and implicating him in a conspiracy to stage a coup in the Nord city of Sargoth, ultimately getting him executed. Now the catch is, I have to also sacrifice one of my trusted Swadian knights in order to do so, who I must convince to deliver the letter to King Ragnar. He will, of course, be tortured for information which he does not have and also be executed. Fortunately for me, I don't give a f. I agreed to join the scheme and made my way over to the outskirts of Sargoth, where I then sent my oblivious sacrificial lamb to his very agonizing and gruesome demise. And just like that, Bob's your uncle. Unfortunately, Jarl Marayir managed to escape the Nord territory with his life and joined the Kingdom of Vegas. Nevertheless, I returned to King Harlow's to report my success and was rewarded for my heinous deeds. However, this was pretty much all for nothing, as only 2 days later we made peace with the Nords. I've just completely ruined some chap's entire renownful and distinguished career and driven him out of his homeland permanently for absolutely nothing. It's a good thing I don't really care, otherwise I might feel bad. But worry not, gentlemen, because we're back at war with the Rodoks, and this time they're back with a vengeance. Mother of Christ! You better run like France, mate. You have a kingdom chasing you. Frederick was now basically stuck in Uxal, with an entire Rodok army outside waiting for him. So, like the brave legendary warrior he is, he, hid and waited for the other Swadian lords to disperse the invasion force, which they did. I was then tasked by Count Starmer with capturing a Rodok lord and bringing him to him on a silver platter. So I found a wild Count Rimusk out in the wilderness and prepared to engage. Unfortunately for me, Count Falsifor and his army had joined the battle on the side of Count Rimusk. However, I was also not alone, as I was joined by my best mate, Count Tredian. We started the battle with a significant numerical advantage, and I began to position my cavalry for the great charge. Along the ridge, the Rodok army was in sight, and so we... No, I'm not having that. You're going to pay for that, you bastards. Have it! The initial charge was an absolute success, shattering the Rodok formation and causing them to scatter. This was then when I came across Count Rimusk himself on the field, and prepared for an epic duel. Come on, you mountain lord prick, let's have a tussle, shall we? Oh, you bastard, my horse has got nothing to do with it. And again! No, your horse is getting it now, mate. You've made this personal. Yes, well then, my boy, good hit. Just cut him off like a sodding police chase. That's not all I'm going to cut off. Come on, get some! You're feeling the wrath of the Digby Company here. Oh dear, mate, is your horse gone? What a shame. That's why you don't buy Italian horses, old boy. Right, well, you're dead. Why has he done that? You're not going to win, mate. Especially since you've just had the medieval equivalent of being hit by a sodding car. How are you alive? You lasted far longer than you should have done. After besting my worthy adversary in what was definitely single combat, my boys finished up the remaining Rodok forces and victory was ours. I then consensually took Count Rimus captive and handed him over to Count Stammer, before deciding to beat the shite out of the nearby Count Frudreim, who was raiding a Swadian caravan. After a short and decisive victory over the dishonourable Blighters, in which Frudreim was absorbed into my horde of cavalry and never seen again, I saw that Count Halbar was besieging Uxel, and so moved in to convince him that that might not be so good for his health. My main persuasion tactic here was going to consist of lots of horses, and men on those horses armed with spears. And after a very one-sided clash, my attempt at diplomacy had succeeded, as Talbar decided to abandon his siege. Additionally, his army had been wiped out, so that might have had something to do with it. And then something crazy happened. I got a haircut, and then something else crazy happened. King Harlos tasked me with infiltrating the Rodok city of Velusa to meet with the spy, collect his reports, and hand them to him. So, wasting no time at all, I rode forth to Velusa, snuck into the city, wasted some time because there was a tournament and I got distracted, and then began my search for the spy. Right, where am I supposed to find a spy then? Hi mate, are you a spy? What the shite sort of dialogues am I looking at? Well, I guess I'll tell you about Operation Flashpoint Red River. Right, great. Cheers, mate. So what's happened here, then? Well, let's go back to my conversation with King Harlos, in which he told me about a secret phrase that I had to give the spy. Unfortunately, I wasn't listening, and so was absolutely bloody clueless. On top of that, I didn't have any bastard idea where this little ruffian would be skulking. So the search began. Hi, boss man, you interested in rivers? Yep, nope, sound. What about tapestries? I don't like you. Right. So, would the spy be a woman by any chance? No. Fantastic. Can you just be a spy, mate? For what might the population of Velusa be? Right, well you're dead. Well done. Oh my! Within no time at all, I had found the spy and collected his reports. But on my way back to King Harlos, I was sidetracked when I came across Count Kurnius and decided it would be funny to beat him up. So that's exactly what I did. And after that bit of friendly banter with the Rodoks, I returned to King Harlos and gave him the reports. I then joined the realm's military campaign and we began to besiege Velusa, which is great. As Yalen was already under our control, taking Velusa as well would be a huge blow to the Rodoks. So we were determined to win this battle. Well, I mean, we're determined to win all of them, but especially this one. Alright, chaps. Remember what very little training I gave you, and you might only lose one limb. Now if we could just get up the ladder in a nice and orderly fashion, that would be just spiffing. Only cowards hide behind walls, you Rodok vagabonds! And now that Frederick Digby's on the wall, that's a different story, isn't it? I'm just now realising how useless the Rodoks are. No armour, nothing, just hoods and bloody tunics. Yeah, what now, you green pillocks? The Digby Mercenary Company's on your wall, the game's gone. Come on, chaps. As the Americans would say, fight and win. Or as I would say, beat their skulls into mushy peas. Yes, now I've noticed that the Rodoks have quite the ranged advantage here. I may have to do something about that. Another way, chaps. I'm just going to single-handedly win the war. Let's have it then, you scoundrels! Who wants to die first? I didn't actually expect to get hit. Right, we're falling back. Like any good military commander, I'll stick to where I know I'm going to win. Trust me, Rodoks, we Swadians have very advanced tactics. You're not going to win this. And can you stop shooting me, please, for the love of God? I found a role better suited to my expertise. It's called standing on a wall and shooting at the enemy from a distance. See, there we go. Thanks to my several acts of bravery, we have won the battle. We had successfully breached the city walls, but the Rodok defenders continued to resist us in the streets, and it was up to me to persuade them otherwise. Let's do some good old chips then, my friends. Here we go. You cross swords of a man who is of divine power, my friend. You're quite simply just inconveniencing me, do you know what I mean? Can't wait to win. This is gonna be... Losing's just a mindset, and I didn't lose. Despite rather unfortunately taking an arrow between the sodding eyes, my Swadian comrades won the siege, and Velusa was now under our control. And not even 2 weeks later, I hear that our Marshal Count Haringhoff has besieged Jelkala, the last remaining Rodok city. So I join up with his and the other Swadian forces and begin another siege. Well, I'm sure you chaps know the drill by now. Did you just drop your shield, you stupid bastard? Oh, well, I bet they feel safe up there. They won't for long. Alright, lads, time for me to show you how it's done. It's just what they wear. They just look like bloody garden gnomes. It doesn't exactly scream intimidation, does it? And why is there a Saranid here? Piss off, mate. This is the land of the Swadian people. You don't belong around here. Right, now, you might think I'm in trouble here, but I'm actually sound. Well, I'm fine. Not worried at all. Right, well you're dying. That just wasn't very gentlemanlike, was it? No, I'm pissed. I'm just going to take it out on this blighter down here.
It was at this moment, Jackson.
You know, you're gone, mate. Sorry. Same with you, you Saranid prick. Come here. I have just had a stroke of genius, chaps. And what? Just give me Calradia already. I took a vantage point where the main forces were clashing and began shooting down at the Rodok crowd with a crossbow. I was pretty much untouchable from where I was standing, and it was working very well. Until it wasn't. Ouch. Oh, we've run out of Swadians! I'm in trouble! I do not have the health to do this! It's okay, it's alright. I've decided it's fine. See, just look at that! I have expertly evaded danger. As things would turn out, it was fine, because I managed to avoid dying and we won the siege. However, like last time, it was not over yet, as the street still had to be clear of the stubborn defending Rodok soldiers. And I was determined to do a better job than last time. Who needs health to do this? And we'll just swarm them and then Bob's you on. I'm in trouble! Now bollocks to it, lads. What sort of man would I be to stand down because I took some arrow to the chest? Bugger that, come here, you Rodok pricks. After a closely fought street fight, we won. Still wasn't over yet, though, as we had to clear the bloody castle. We're balancing on the edge of life and death here, chaps. Why do I care to stab a man in the back? I'm a mercenary. Who the devil got farmers to defend the castle? No wonder we're bloody wiping out the Rodoks from the sodding map. We won the battle with minimal casualties and took Jelkala. We had now seized control of every single Rodok city on the map, and they were now reduced to just a small number of little castles. Safe to say from this point forth, the Rodoks are buggered, and the mighty kingdom of Swadia could not have done it without Frederick Digby and the help of the Digby Company. And don't you forget,